leading with and alongside community, the coherence we crave. Why building personal and leadership coherence is the quiet revolution every team and community needs. In a time when so many feel fragmented, burned out, or unseen, a new kind of leadership is quietly emerging, one rooted not in control, but in connection. This is the path of leading with and alongside community. It's not performative. It's not top-down. It's not quote-unquote leadership in the old paradigm. This is leadership that walks with, not ahead. It listens. It learns. It holds space. And it recognizes that the wisdom of the whole can only emerge when the nervous systems within it feel safe enough to trust. But here's the truth we often skip. You cannot lead with and alongside community if you are fragmented within yourself. That's why we must start not with strategies, but with coherence. Part 1. Presence is not enough. We often talk about the importance of presence in leadership, but presence without coherence can still feel unstable, reactive, performative, or subtly controlling. What we truly need is leadership coherence. Leadership coherence is the state of inner alignment that allows you to lead from clarity, calm, and compassion, even when everything around you feels uncertain. It's when your heart, mind, and nervous system are working together, not at odds, and that coherence is felt by others. It shapes the emotional tone of every room you enter. Leadership coherence isn't something you achieve once. It's a practice, but that practice begins at an even deeper level. Part 2. Leadership coherence begins with personal coherence. Before you can model coherence for others, you have to embody it within yourself. This is where personal coherence comes in. Personal coherence is a state where your thoughts, emotions, and physiological systems are in sync. It's the internal foundation that enables emotional regulation, clear decision-making, and intuitive guidance. But it doesn't just happen on its own. It requires intentionality. It requires practice. It requires a willingness to turn inward before tuning outward. To mindfully and intentionally build personal coherence means that you take regular pauses to check in with yourself, not just intellectually, but somatically. Use breath, awareness, and techniques like heart-focused breathing to reset your nervous system. Choose to notice what drains your energy and take steps to plug those drains. Cultivate an internal environment of compassion and courage, even in discomfort. When leaders do this work, they not only shift their own experience, they become stable anchors for others. Their presence becomes a sanctuary. Their clarity becomes contagious. Their courage becomes catalytic. This is the unseen labor of real leadership. Part 3. When collective coherence takes root. When personal coherence is sustained and leadership coherence becomes embodied, something remarkable begins to happen. Collective coherence takes root. This is the moment when teams shift from fragmentation to flow, from confusion to clarity, from burnout to shared resilience, shared wisdom, and a shared human experience. In a collectively coherent team or community, communication becomes cleaner and less reactive. Emotional undercurrents stabilize. People begin to co-regulate with each other. Trust is no longer fragile, it's regenerative. Innovation increases because safety is no longer in question. But this doesn't happen by chance. It happens because a leader or a small group of leaders chose to build their own coherence first. They did the quiet, often invisible work of becoming grounded enough to hold space for others. And from that space, transformation takes root, not as a temporary fix, but as a lasting shift in how people relate, lead, and live together. So here's a closing reflection. Leading with and alongside community begins by leading yourself, not with force, but with care. Because the way you show up sets the tone for how others feel they can show up too. If you want to be part of building something more human, more grounded, more whole, start with coherence. Personal, then leadership, then collective. The rest unfolds from there. And here's a contemplative journal prompt for those who are inclined to journal. What becomes possible in my leadership and in my community when I lead from a place of inner coherence? What's one simple practice I can commit to this week to strengthen that coherence within myself? Lastly, I'd like to invite you to stay connected. If this reflection resonated with you, consider subscribing to receive more insights on heart coherent leadership, team transformation, and the deeper inner work that makes it all possible. We're building a community of grounded, courageous leaders who know the way forward begins within. Let's walk it together.